Hi Milepost 1 and welcome back to the Toy Museum in our IPC. Now you might not be able to see these pictures really clearly, but don't worry. On your class dojo I've put the pictures that you need for today. I'm amazed when we look at toys to see how things have changed, going from one piece that you play with, just one thing, one moving part, you do all the work, to really complicated modern toys like the Xbox One. I think the way that they've changed is amazing. But when we look at some of these toys, they still exist today. People still play with spinning tops today. People still play with marbles today. That means that people have been playing with marbles and spinning tops for 5,000 years. Whoa! Dolls. People still play with dolls today. We saw Bayer's Barbie on Class Dojo last week. And yo-yos, in fact, everything on this top row, people still play with today. They look a bit different than they did 2,000, 3,000 years ago. Even the boomerang, 800 years ago, looks a bit different now. Footballs definitely look a bit different. They don't use bits of pig to make footballs anymore. This toy here, we don't really see very often. People don't play with the hoop and stick anymore. But crayons, they still exist today. The box looks a bit different. Meccano, you can still buy Meccano in the shops today. But again, it looks a bit different. And then it's these modern toys, these ones down at the bottom that haven't been around for very long, but people stop playing with them. So Pong, not many people will play Pong anymore. You have to go to very special places to be able to play Pong. This Game Boy, the thing I wanted more than anything when I was growing up, well, I could go and buy this from a second-hand shop, but now it's all about the Nintendo Switch instead. They've created something better, so people stop playing with this one. So when we look at these really old toys, these are the ones that still exist today. They've been around longer than these ones, but people play with these more than they play with the Game Boy. So let's look today about how things have changed. We'll think about why they've changed, and we'll look at the things that are similar. Year 1, you've been doing same or different as part of your morning activities on Class Dojo. So you're going to be experts at this. Let's look at a couple of those toys and see how that they've changed. Right, the boomerang. 800 years ago, people were using this, and we're still using boomerangs today. Look at these two examples and think to yourself, what's similar? What is the same? And what is different? Take a little while to think. You can pause the video if you need more time. I'm going to count from 20 down to 0. What is similar? What is different? Ten seconds left. Okay, well, let's have a talk about this one. It's got this curved shape and it's made of a really hard wood. This one here does have a curved shape, but it's got an extra leg. It's because this one's quite hard to throw. And the idea with a boomerang is you throw it and it comes back to you. It's quite difficult to become really good at throwing a boomerang so that it comes back. This shape, scientists have found, is much easier to curve it through the air to get it to come back to you. So they changed the shape because this one is easier to throw. This one's made of really hard wood. This one's made of softer plastic. Remember, the old boomerang from 800 years ago was used as a weapon. So I don't think it would be a good idea to give that to children to throw with their friends. Do you? Can you imagine? So they've made it out of a softer plastic so that it is safer for children to use. Anything else that you notice about these two, looking back then and looking now? What about the colour? Any similar colours? Or are they different? Of course they're different. This one's just made out of wood. because fancy paints and oils didn't exist 800 years ago. This one here is moulded out of coloured plastic. So colour now is really, really cheap. It didn't even exist here. This one's brightly coloured. Why do you think children's toys are brightly coloured? Any ideas? Well, they look nice. And they make children go, oh, Mum, Dad, please can I have that cool green boomerang? If these two were on the shelf in the shop, I bet that you would like this one more than this one because it's got that awesome green colour. This one doesn't stand out on the shelf, doesn't maybe make you want to buy it. So now toys are really brightly coloured, so they stand out from other toys in the shop. And you go home with the brightest boomerang there is. Let's look at another example where you need to think to yourself, what is similar and what is different? Then and now. Now, if you can't see this picture, this was the Meccano set from 1901. So just over 100 years ago, this is a Meccano set. And this is what a Meccano set looks like now. What's similar? Have a think to yourself. And what is different? Okay, I'm going to give you about 15 seconds. What's the same? What's different? Think about what it's made from. Think about the package it comes in. Okay, the things that are similar, you might have said, it's made of metal. That is similar. Meccano is still mostly made of metal. Another thing that's similar, it comes in a box. This one comes in a box. This one comes in a box. The other thing that's similar, you can still make things with it. This boy here has made some sort of tower or crane, and this person here, it's showing you how to make this race car. It does look fun. It's a bit like metal Lego. Anything else that's similar? Maybe it comes with instructions. Not sure. It's not clear in this picture if this Meccano set did come with instructions. All right, what's different then? Which one would you buy if you went to the shop? And now think, why would you buy it? There must be a difference. Which is making you want to buy it? Did you say this one because it's a cool race car and you can see what the person has built really clearly? Maybe it's got the bright colours on the box that makes it stand out on the shelf. And this one, lovely wooden box. I think if you ask the grown-ups in your house, which Meccano set would you like to have? They might have a different answer to you. Because this is a lovely wooden box that you would be able to keep for a very long time. And this is a cardboard box that would eventually become damaged and have to go in the bin. So even in 100 years, the things inside haven't changed too much. You get these different fancy parts, like you do with a Lego set, like the wheels, like the front bumper, but the whole idea of Meccano is still going after 100 years. It's just more brightly coloured now. Colour is cheaper now than it was 100 years ago. Boxes are cheaper to make now than they were 100 years ago. Plastic is easier to make now than it was 100 years ago. So there's lots of reasons why these things change. Most of it is to do with how easy it is and how expensive it is to make. I'm going to show you your challenges for your IPC today. Now, you have a choice. You can do challenge 1 or you can do challenge 2. Challenge 1 is only drawing. Challenge 2 has a little bit of writing. We know that it's a writing week in English. That's why we're giving you the choice. If you choose to do challenge 1, put extra effort into your English writing. If you choose to do challenge 2, we're really impressed that you're choosing to challenge yourself and do even more writing. Okay. Here is what challenge 1 looks like. I've given you pictures of the old or ancient toys. That's then, what it looked like in the past. Your job is to think about what they look like now. There are empty boxes for you to draw what you think they look like now. If you've got them in your house, if you've got marbles in your house, like I've got right here, go and get a marble and copy your marble or marbles. I've got mine here. And I'm going to do marbles as the example. Dolls. Do you have dolls in your house? Could you copy a doll with your very best picture of a doll in that big box? Football. Footballs look very different now. This one's brown, a bit rough around the edges, big fat stitches. Do you have a football in your house that you could go and find and copy? Crayons, spinning top. Now, I'd be amazed if people have got spinning tops in their house. Because, I mean, I love spinning tops, and I can play with a spinning top for hours and hours and hours, especially if it's got numbers on it, where it chooses the number randomly. And then toy car is the last one. Do you have a toy car in your house, and does it look like this little wooden one from 1960? That's about 70 years old, more or less. 60 years old. Quick maths this morning. And it looks very different to the toy cars I imagine you have at your house. I'm going to start off by drawing the marbles. Nice big box here for me to draw. And I'm going to have a really good look at my marbles. Oh, it's not going to be easy to draw a marble because they're quite see-through some of the time. Now you get these ones that are made of glass with the colour inside. Or we've got other ones that are made of like a ceramic that have got the colour on the outside. But back then they were just made out of stone. Somebody had to carve this out of a stone or smooth down a stone that was quite round already. Okay, I'm going to draw my marble. I've got two to draw. Oh, and I'm going to get one of a different size, I think. There's one glass, and there we go. Now, I imagine some of you know the fancy names for these marbles. I'm not a marble expert. I'm going to start with this glass one. Get my pencil first, and then I'll colour it in afterwards. There's my pencil. And lightly sketch the round shape of the marble. Yeah, and it is a sphere, so it's not a circle, so I might do some shading. I might show that it's sitting on the floor somewhere. Do some shading so we can see. It's got a shadow, so we know that it's round, and then I've got some yellow going through it. Yellow, like this. And then you're going to get a nice glassy colour. Not easy to do when you can see through something. But I'm going to use my directional shading to try and give it that shape. Even harder to do on a board. There we go, going round, making it look round. Doing my personal best with my drawing. And then I think I'm going to put a bit more of that yellow in. Swirls like this, and then one final touch to make it look extra round. I'm going to put a little bit over there for the sun. There's one marble. I could go on to draw another one. This one is whitey grey with blue, orange and yellow. Oh, I like that angle. That's what I'm going to draw. Get my pencil again. This one is smaller, so I'm going to try and show that it's smaller. Get my round shape. Just sketch that nice round shape. Rub out any bits that I don't want. Don't want most of that, it wasn't very round. There we go, that's a bit better. A little bit of shading to show that it's 3D. And then those three colours. Okay, I had one coming in like this, and one coming in like this, and one coming in like this. And I get those colours. This one was blue. Yeah, then we had a red, or a reddy orange. And then a yellow coming around like this. And the whole colour was a sort of grey sort of colour. This colour here, yeah, that's nice, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Trying to keep the shape of the marble by using my pencil as I go round and round and round. And when I think I've done my personal best, I can stop. Those are my two marbles. The big one with the yellow stripe, and then the smaller one with the yellow, red and blue. And I've drawn what marbles look like now. You could label it with some of the differences. You could write the word glass on here if you wanted to, or the word colour on here. But challenge one is mostly about drawing. For that reason, you've got to take your time, just like I did. Really make sure your drawing looks as beautiful as it can. That's what challenge 1 looks like, and you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes to do yourselves, and marbles, you can use my example. Challenge 2 has a couple of extra boxes. This is what your challenge 2 looks like, and this first column here, where it says now, that's for your picture. So you can draw pictures too. Now, picture of the marbles now, what do dolls look like now, what do footballs look like now. But then there are some questions for you to think about, to do a little bit of writing. Not a great deal, doesn't have to be super long sentences, just thinking about what is the same and what is different. Year 2s, it would be lovely to see as many of you doing a little bit of writing as possible, but it is your choice today. I've done an example of marbles again, with that writing. So in this box, picture of my marbles, which I've just drawn, so I'm not going to draw again. And then I've said, what is the same? They are round, both pictures, they would be round. They are different sizes. We've got small ones, we've got big ones. And what is different? They were made of stone, but now they are made of glass. And they are more colourful now. No colours here, not available. Just the different colours of the stones. Can't add that colour. Or if people could add that colour, it's washed away or deteriorated by now. So some ideas that were the same and some ideas that were different. This is your IPC activity today, thinking about now and thinking about what it was like back then. Think about those marbles, the dolls and the football. There are also other examples, the crayons, the spinning top, and the toy car. Use objects in your house, if you've got them. If you're lucky enough to have some of the modern versions of these toys, use those. This toy car, we've got really, really interesting and cool toy cars now. This one, the only way you could make it move was to drag it along with a string. But there are toy cars now that move in a different way. I wonder if you'll use that as your example of toy car now. Okay, this is your IPC activity. Once you've done, send me a photograph of your then and now pictures, and remember you can choose challenge 1 where it's just drawing, or challenge 2 where there's drawing and some writing. I cannot wait to see your home learning, and your ideas in IPC have been brilliant. I hope you're enjoying this topic as much as I am, and as much as Miss Rowe and Miss Njane are too. Okay, send me your stuff. I can't wait to see it. Bye.